So before we jump into questions today, Prue, would you like to take some time to introduce yourself to our audience?
Certainly. My name is Prue Muirhead. I own a company called Muirhead Property Management. We're in Adelaide, and I actually am an investor myself, have about 18 positive geared cash flow properties. So I do like returns and holding properties for long-term capital growth. So I've got 18 of those. So I love property. So Muirhead Property Management was just a way of spreading my wings.
Excellent, beautiful. So now for Peter's properties down at the Esplanade, 196 Esplanade, they're going to be double story. Would you have recommended a single story or a double story for this particular property?
Yeah, and they're going to be beautiful too.
Definitely.
Obviously in that location, 2-story to capture the views is on point totally. Definitely getting the views, especially from the living area upstairs, would be perfect and is perfect.
Yeah. And now, is there an ideal size for these units?
When it comes down to it, with rental compared to sales, the square meterage of the actual building doesn't seem to matter when it comes to rentals. Tenants tend to look for how many bedrooms there are and how many bathrooms and living areas. So even though they might be a bit smaller than what they could be, it doesn't seem to reflect on the rent because they're only there for a short time. It's not something they're going to stay in for 20 years. It's not a long-term intention.
Yeah. So on the topic of bedrooms, how many bedrooms is ideal?
Ideal 3. I guess 4 is ideal, but 3, if 4 can fit, perfect. No less than 2, naturally, because the less bedrooms you have, usually the more transient the tenant. So 3 would be ideal as a base, but this being a 4 is perfect.
Yeah. And is it the same with bathrooms? Does it need to have the 2 bathrooms, or can you get away with a 2-way bathroom?
I would expect with a 4-bed property, you'd expect at least 2 bathrooms, preferably an ensuite. A 2-way bathroom is a great option if you were building something and you didn't really have the space for a second bathroom, but you wanted to create that feeling of an ensuite.
Yeah. And is it the same with the bedrooms? Do they need to have the built-in robe, storage, or a walk-in robe? Is there something that people are looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the master bedroom should always have at least a built-in robe. A walk-in robe on the seafront would almost be expected. Anywhere else, a normal robe is fine. It won't reflect on your rent. They just expect that. Bedroom 2, 3 and 4, it probably doesn't matter as far as a rental return. Some tenants may choose not to rent a property if it hasn't got robes, but generally they're looking in the master bedroom. And robes aren't usually very expensive, so it would be ideal to put them in every room.
Yeah, definitely. I know I like my built-in robes.
Yes, yes. Going up the stairs with that big robe.
That's it. Nobody wants to be doing
No.
And in terms of tenant expectations, being on the Esplanade, is a balcony, is it a must, or can you get away with just having gorgeous big glass windows?
On the seafront, a balcony is a must. Believe it or not, a balcony away from the seafront will probably only return you 1 or 2%, but would on your investment. So ultimately, it really isn't necessarily worth it elsewhere, but definitely on the seafront would be a necessity, and it big enough to sit on. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you see some of those
enjoy the
balconies
views.
and you wonder what's the point of
Exactly.
them.
Yeah.
Now, how about garaging? Do they need to have a double garage, or is a single garage okay?
I think on the seafront, if you could get a double garage, it would be perfect, and in this case it has been a double garage. A single garage is a definite, and an off-street parking for a second vehicle would be an absolute definite too. So a single would be ideal, but the double is the one that you'd need on the seafront, and it does reflect on rent. That one does make a difference with your rental returns if you give them a double or a single.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is our target market for these properties?
Yeah, I would expect it to be someone that's a professional couple with children, probably not very, very young children because of the stairs, but a couple of professionals, anything up to retirement. So just virtually anybody that's not probably, maybe not even virtually anyone that can go upstairs would probably, who wouldn't want to love to live on the seafront? Yeah,
that's
seafront's
true.
beautiful.
Now, do you have an appraisal rental price for the property?
Absolutely. Seafronts, because this is a brand new property, you'll always return more rent in the very initial tenancy. So I would imagine it'd be anything up to $600. Most of the properties on the seafront at the moment that aren't new, 4-bed, 2 baths, are actually returning about $500, but I would think $550 to $600 because it's brand new, because that always brings you more rent.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, Prue, do you have any other property management suggestions for other developers out there?
Absolutely, just a couple. Wash and wear paint, because tenants touch walls and you don't want to be painting regularly. You certainly want wash and wear paint. Unlike if you were selling it, you could just paint the property and sell it, it would be okay. But tenants are going to touch your walls and you're going to have to repaint them if you don't use wash and wear paint, and that'll cost quite a bit of money to do. The second suggestion would be to allow pets where possible, because just like us all, I've got pets, most of us have pets, and 70% of the rental market have pets, so you don't really want to close off your market, because supply and demand, the more people that want the property, the higher the rent you'll get. So, and the Residential Tenancies Act does protect you from any kind of damage pets do too, so it really isn't a huge risk to have a pet, and you will get higher rental for that. The third one would be professional photographs, because you're going to keep the property for a while for capital growth and rent returns, so nice photos will always bring in nice tenants. So I would certainly get some professional, and they're only about $150 to get done, so it's a really, really good investment considering how much you've just spent on doing a development. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much
That's
for
okay,
coming
Belinda.
in today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you. Okay.